everyone. I'm here with my first Realms Reads wrap-up. I have finished the one book for 1987, which is the first book published in the Forgotten Realms setting, and I will be doing a review of that book. If you didn't watch my Realms Reads announcement video, I'm going to go ahead and link that down below. I recommend you watch it, but just quick recap. I plan to read most of the novels set in the Forgotten Realms. Not all of them. I have preemptively gone through and kind of combed out a couple that didn't seem like they were going to be very interesting to me, so it's not quite every single one. And I'm also allowing myself, if I start a trilogy or a set or a series, because most of the books in the Forgotten Realms are series, that if I don't like the first book or two, that I can drop it and not feel bad about it. But I'm just trying to read as many of them as possible. So 1987 is the first year that a book set in the Forgotten Realms is published, and only one book was published that year, and that book is Darkwalker On Moonshae by Douglas Niles. I just recently finished this. It took me a little longer than I wanted to, but I finished it in about a month, and I really liked it. I ended up giving it 4 out of 5 stars. There were just a couple things that kind of kept it from being a 5-star read for me. Overall, I did really enjoy it. If you're interested in reading this book, I will definitely let you know that it is high fantasy for sure. So if you're not used to hard high fantasy books, or that's something that you find that you don't really like, then this might not be the book for you. But if that is something that you enjoy, then I would highly recommend it. It just reads like a very classic high fantasy novel. Great evil is going across the land, and the powers of good and the band of heroes needs to defeat it. In this, there is a creature both referred to as the Beast or by his name, Khazgoroth, who's kind of going through the land and corrupting various peoples and things throughout to try to overthrow the power of the goddess, which is kind of the general force of good and the main deity in this area. And there's a couple different of the heroes. There's Tristan, who's the prince of this kind of main kingdom that all this is happening in. Robin, who is raised as the king's ward, ends up coming into some power of her own. There's a bard, there's their halfling friend, there's an adorable fairy dragon named Newt, who I loved and I hope is in many future books, and various other mystical creatures and beings more closely tied with the goddess. So my favorite character would definitely have to be Robin. Robin ends up being a badass, so if you're looking for a strong badass female character, I would definitely recommend this book, with one kind of disclaimer. One of the things that kind of knocked some points off of it, like I said, there were a couple things that made this not a 5-star read for me, and that is Robin kind of seemed almost like a little bit of a different character near the end of the book, and I won't really go into what I mean by that. You'll just kind of have to read and find out. Not that she was any less of a badass, but just the decisions she would make and the way she would react to certain things felt a little bit out of character for her. But from reading the synopsis or like the blurbs on the backs of the rest of the trilogy, I feel like she kind of gets over that in previous books. My least favorite character is probably going to be Tristan, the prince. He's a whiny little baby at the beginning, and he really only gets slightly better. He does grow as the book goes, but, you know, not as much as I would have liked him to grow. So I'm interested to see in the rest of the trilogy kind of how he progresses, and hopefully it's a lot more. I also appreciated in this that there were a couple times where characters who were really seeking a lot of power or driven and motivated by lust or lust for power, those were the characters most likely to be targeted by the beast. So there was a definite, like, if you are corrupt in your heart or you are kind of doing things that maybe you shouldn't do, or you're just not a great person, that you will end up not faring so well. And I kind of liked that, especially in certain situations. So overall, I would definitely recommend this book. It is a trilogy, and I'm definitely going to be continuing with this trilogy. If you like this video, be sure to click the like button.